Put this one out. Rick Wiles says they were genetically modified soldiers in Syria, according to the Syrian foreign minister. We don't have 2 or 3 or 4 political parties in America. We have one political party. It is the perpetual war, corruption, sleaze, and pedophilia party. That's what runs America. It has a Democratic wing and a Republican wing, but it's the same party. It's the face of the shadow government. It's just a face, the public face of the shadow government.
This is a great day for ISIS, and this is a great day for Assad.
She's mad.
Yeah, she is.
She's really mad.
Steamed. Because we're not going to kill some more people over in Syria.
That's really what it is, Doc. She's having a bad day because America won't be killing people today.
And did you hear her say that the Kurds were fighting for America?
Yeah, I heard that.
They were. They're not fighting for their freedom, their land, but they're fighting for America. They're working for us. Is that what she's saying? Maybe she knows more about it than she's telling.
Yes, they are fighting. They're not fighting for America, fighting for the regime that controls America.
Right.
That's who they're fighting for. All right. And their reward is America will back them in getting some territory out of Syria to start a country. Of course, they also want some Turkey.
Right.
All right. They want some Syria and they want some Turkey. All right. They want some, all right. They want, and actually some Iraq. They want to carve out
a Kurdistan, basically.
A Kurdistan, right. Iraq, Syria, and Turkey, and create a Kurdistan.
Of course, controlled by the American empire.
Yes.
So
where we would get a new military base.
Right.
But she's very, very mad, Meghan McCain.
I mean, what rabbit hole did I fall down into where the left is advocating war?
Because the left is funded by the war machine.
Yes.
Both sides, the right and the left, are funded by the war machine. This is what we're up against. It is bipartisan, Republican, Democrat. Meghan McCain, of course, she's just following in the footsteps of her dad,
right,
who never saw a war he didn't like.
Right.
Loved war, loved starting wars, loved starting revolutions, loved backing anything where America could send in troops. He loved it. That was his job. She said anybody that supports the withdrawal of American troops from Syria are feckless, unpatriotic cowards.
Because I don't want American troops to die. Because I don't want to send young men and young women into a meat grinder. I'm a coward?
According to Meghan McCain, if you're not willing to support American troops invading other countries uninvited, then you're a coward. Ryan, what are the Kurdish fighters doing in Syria?
Right. That's a great question, isn't it?
Is that their home country? No, Brian. This is real simple, Brian. The Kurdish fighters in Syria are infiltrators.
They're invaders,
They're
just
invaders.
like we are.
They're invaders, and they're armed with American weapons. Because America is an invader in Syria. So they got themselves in this mess by going into Syria. Doc, going back to Meghan McCain, she said that today was a great day for ISIS and a great day for Assad, meaning President Assad. Now, doesn't that sound, if you put those two sentences together, doesn't that sound as though Meghan McCain is implying that President Assad of Syria and ISIS work together?
They're on the same side, which is...
Isn't that what she's implying?
That's what she's implying exactly.
Dear Meghan, let me explain this to you. President Assad's army has been killing ISIS soldiers. And the ISIS soldiers were armed. Let me repeat this, Meghan. Your dad, your dead father helped procure the funds, the covert funding. John McCain, Lindsey Graham, Marco Rubio, all of the deep state senators that worked to give covert funding to arm ISIS. Guns, rockets, even Ford F-150s.
Right.
Were smuggled through various Gulf countries, went into Saudi Arabia, and then moved through a network of other countries to put the weapons and vehicles into the hands of an army of mercenaries that intelligence agencies rounded up, recruited, and trained to attack the Syrian army led by President Assad. Please don't insult our intelligence, Megan, by trying to make us believe that President Assad supports ISIS. You know that that's not true. You're a propagandist, just like your father. He was a very good propagandist on North Vietnam shortwave radio. And you're just following in your father's footsteps on The View. And we're going to call you out on it. There's a lot of baloney in that few minutes.
That's a nice way of putting it.
Yeah, Brian Kilmeade said the Kurds got rid of the caliphate, the ISIS caliphate. Well, now we got to educate Brian.
Right.
Now, Brian, the Kurds didn't kill ISIS. The Russian army and the Russian Air Force wiped out ISIS.
Right.
Again, funded by the U.S. government, Israel, and Saudi Arabia.
And Rick, where are the Kurds from? They're not from Syria. Where are they from? They're from Iraq, right?
Yes.
Northern Iraq.
Yes.
And so basically they invaded northern Syria.
Yes.
For what purpose? They saw the terrorist attacks by ISIS on President Assad, and they saw an opportunity to move into northern Syria and claim territory for themselves, backed by the U.S.
I think, Doc, a lot of it, if we knew the truth, if we were there in the meetings, I think that CIA and Pentagon war planners told the Kurds, we need some fresh troops in Syria.
And so they got them from the Kurds.
So if you guys go in and help us push back the Russians,
we'll carve out a little chunk of Syria.
Your bonus, your payment will be you'll get a little bit of Syria. But I think the purpose was to go in to fight the Russians. I think we hired them as mercenaries.
And do you also recall, Rick, this has been a while back, where President Trump came out and said, we have eliminated ISIS. So we're totally eliminated. It's done. It's,
yes.
They're dead.
And now there's tens of thousands of them.
Where are they coming from?
They're getting ready to start again. See, we're going to hear this again.
Right.
There were ISIS fighters who were removing the hearts of the Syrian soldiers and eating them. These are the people that America supported.
Right.
Israel, Saudi Arabia, and America providing the guns, the weapons, the money to subhuman savages, cannibalistic, genetically modified savages. I want to see what Right Wing Watch does with this program. Okay, put this one out. Rick Wiles says they were genetically modified soldiers in Syria, according to the Syrian foreign minister. But the United States government and Israel and Saudi Arabia financed that army of monsters that decapitated Christians, impaled Christian pastors on crosses, cut children in half with swords.
Burn them alive, drown them in cages. I mean, these are things that our, basically, our extension supported.
And it was so bad that the Russians said, we have to go in to stop the slaughter.
Yes.
Because the Russians were defending the Christians. Primarily, they went to defend the Christians. Well, President Trump's getting more opposition. Nikki Haley, she loves war too. She tweeted, we must always have the backs of our allies if we expect them to have our back. The Kurds were instrumental in our successful fight against ISIS in Syria. Leaving them to die is a big mistake. Turkey is not our friend. But Turkey is a NATO member.
Right. So which is it?
The Kurds aren't a member of NATO. Turkey is a member of NATO. So Nikki Haley, what are you going to do with Turkey? Kick them out of NATO and bring the Kurds in.
That's the plan.
And then
Liz Cheney, she went on to say as well, withdrawing U.S. forces from northern Syria is a catastrophic mistake that puts our gains against ISIS at risk and threatens U.S. security. This decision ignores the lesson of 9/11. Terrorists thousands of miles away can and will use their safe havens to launch attacks against America. They got to whip out 9/11.
Afghanistan, Doc.
Yes.
That's why we're still in Afghanistan, because
We don't want another 9/11, right?
those Afghan nomads launched an attack on the United States of America.
Right.
And brought down the towers.
And if we don't fight them there in Afghanistan, they're going to get on a donkey and ride all the way to New York and do it again.
That's what Liz Cheney says.